All right, so if we could just get y'all to go down the line and introduce yourselves, we would really appreciate that.
Hi, I'm David Johnston. I play John McGuire.
Yeah.
And I'm Sam Jones-Brink.
I'm John James, the co-executive producer, and I played Sci.
I'm David Giancola. I'm the director, executive producer. It's mostly my fault.
Hi, my name's Georgia PANTAZOPOULOS, and I'm the director of photography.
I'm David Porter. I'm owner of Next One Studios with the post-production house. And
Here in Boston.
Here in Boston, where we posted.
So
I spent 3 months with this guy.
Awesome, we're so glad that many of you all could be here. Clearly there's still some reunions happening. First thing I want to say, right off the bat, because I didn't notice it until my second time watching this film, there's a lot of really badass women in this film.
that's exactly. And we were at the women, what was it called?
The glass ceiling for women in Hollywood
Yeah.
panel today.
It was interesting. It wasn't until, and we were talking about you weren't here since Georgia was. What are you shooting right now?
Let me take this off.
Yeah.
This is awkward. I also work doing techno crane jobs, so I'm a techno crane technician, and we had a job over in Philly, and I had to go because money, and we shot till like 3:30 this morning. So.
She's still working. So she missed this panel, but there was this panel where it was very interesting for me because as a filmmaker, you make the film, and I have to be honest, I make films that I want to watch. So like if you like this film, then tell everybody on the internet because I'll make more movies like this, because this is a movie that if I had a rough day at work or wherever, I'd come home and want to veg out and watch this movie in my underwear. Bad mental picture, I know. But still, what came up during the panel that I realized is that the women in this movie, and I didn't think about it at the time, we were just trying to make three-dimensional characters and good filmmaking and everything else. The women are smarter than the men in this movie.
Okay, so next question. You had a dynamite cast. How did you, as an independent filmmaker, come to be able to have so many?
Well, let me just, and then you can add on to this. The casting is probably the most important thing. They call it the X formula or the X factor or whatever that is. And I think that when you get a cast that is special, you're very lucky. So casting for David and I was a real difficult thing. And we wanted to make it kind of a throwback to another era of filmmaking when we set out to do this. So we wanted an 80s-centric cast since I was playing Sci. Max Caulfield came very easily because he did Grease 2, which was a big movie, and then of course I played with him on Dynasty and the Colbys. And then I wished that I could get Sean Young. Thank God we got her, because I don't think any other actress could deliver the line. Why didn't you tell them about the giant magnetic surge in Lower Manhattan? Every time I hear that, I go right back to 1980 and watching, Ghostbusters and Blade Runner, films like that.
She wasn't in Ghostbusters.
But here was the problem. Here was the problem. We went through actor after actor after actor, and it was really difficult to find somebody to play Brink. Who the hell are we going to find Brink? So, about a year before this, when we were into casting, we went to a Comic-Con, and David came back to me with a Flash Gordon poster. And I said, what's this? He said, Flash Gordon. He said, this was my favorite movie. I grew up on this. This was the first VHS I ever owned, actually Betacam.
Beta Max.
He said, this was the first film. I said, well, I know Sam. I'll get him to autograph it for you. So here we are in the office, and it was like divine intervention. And I'm sitting there, Tony Todd, oh my God, who are you going to get? Who are you going to get? And I look up, and there's Flash on the wall. And I said, that's Brink. That's Brink. And that's how we got Sam.
So tell them how we met writing. We had our little Harley gang in Los Angeles. Yeah, we rode Harleys together. A small group of us, but we rode Harleys in the 80s. That's how we met, yeah. Yeah, well, before they didn't have the helmet law, so it made it a lot more freer, yeah.
Well, so actually, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, and Sam actually took his Harley into the Roxy and did a burnout one night. That's what we don't want to talk about.
You were supposed to tell that story.
Yeah.
So actually, Sam, I wonder if you could just talk to us a little bit about playing the bad guy, and not just the bad guy, but like, what a psycho.
All right.
Total psycho.
Oh, is that on?
I think that one's on, you just gotta go. It's on.
Yeah, is it?
I think
Okay, hello, is that better? Well, yeah, the nemesis, the villain, the bad guy, I love it. I just, over the years, it's been military roles, it's been law enforcement. I even played a woman twice, believe it or not. 4 hours in hair and makeup. I was the ugliest woman on the face of the earth. But anyway, but I love playing the villains because.
Where do we find those movies?
Yeah.
The movies where you played a woman?
Yeah, it was a Lou Gossett film in Vancouver. I think of the
IMDb.
Yeah.
But anyway, I loved doing this scene with David here.
Yeah.
David, the director, gave David and I a lot of freedom. And we actually, you probably have maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes of footage because he allowed us to improvise. And, yeah, take that.
We did, actually.
And
That is the deleted scene. Sam's still upset that the whole
Yeah.
scene, the whole 30-minute scene's not in the movie.
And
So that's gonna be one of the deleted
Yeah.
scenes. But
So it was like a triple blessing. It's playing the bad guy. It's the freedom doing an independent film with the director. Of course, you have to share the director's vision while you're improvising. And then I got to do, and I'm not just saying this to, what? Yeah, and I'm not saying this to tickle your ears, but it was, out of all the 64 films I've done, that scene is the most memorable, the most fun I ever done.
I came in from New York City to shoot this, and I remember it was so surreal because I took, what was the Ethan Allen Express from Penn Station, New York, to Vermont. And I get off, it's like 10 o'clock at night, this train station's empty, and this woman pulls up, and she has my name on a piece of paper. And so I get in her car, and she drives me, she's like, we're gonna go right to the studio. I'm not gonna take you to the hotel, we're gonna go to the studio first, so you can meet the whole gang, and everything here is closed, dinner-wise, but we've got food coming out. I'm like, oh, cool, I'm totally down. So we get onto the set, and it's like, what do you call those things where they park the airplanes? Like a warehouse, with a huge hangar, right? So I walk into this hangar and it smells like sausages, and John James comes out like, that's the dude from Dynasty. He's like, you're in such luck. I'm like, why? Because I'm shooting Axcellerator. He's like, no, because it's sausage night. Sausage night. It's sausage night every night in New York. It's sausage night. So I walk in, and there's Sean Young with a big-ass sausage in her hand and a parka coat. Welcome to Axcellerator, so I knew I was in the right place.
Now we got to do that. What you just heard, we went back and forth, just made it up, improvised. It went on for, I don't know, a long time. Until finally Dave said, cut, okay, we have enough ad-lib now. We went on and on with this. Of course, you didn't see that in the film because we cut it out.
And the crew, we were.
Yeah, it was great, yeah. You're good.
And the other thing to David, you know how difficult it is. I mean, to be an actor, to show up in Vermont in the middle of the night and go right to set and not know anyone and walk in and get a sausage and then be plugged into a scene and not know a person. You did a fabulous job with our heads off today, and I'm so pleased. You did a great job.
You all had a lot of really good one-liners. So what were your favorite kind of just like the lines that you gave during the film?
My favorite. It's shoplifting, really.
I think I had so many, I don't know, what was your favorite line?
The laughter.
I love laughing, so yeah, I think we captured quite a bit of that.
You know how when an actor takes over a role, Sam Jones, real quickly about that. So when you write something and you, as a director, you have in mind what you're going to do, and you talk to the actors and you cast it, and it's true that when you cast it, you set it in stone that if that actor is really good, they're that role. They become that role, and you kind of lose control. And so I always had in mind, has anybody seen No Country for Old Men?
Yeah.
Anton Chigurh, right? scary role, Javier Bardem. Sit down with Sammy, and I said, that's the touch mark for you. It's Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men. We do the first scene, and it's great. I love it. It's funny. It's its own direction, but it's not Javier Bardem. And I said, Sam, you've seen the movie, right? He's like, yeah, brother, yeah. I'm doing Sam. Yeah, brother, I've seen it. I said, great. And that's how we do the right. Just let him go. And that's basically, that's you.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was probably the most fun movie to make out of my directing. I mean, I produced over 30 movies, but out of the 20 or so that I've directed, it's the most fun to direct.
It was a lot of fun, but he's also letting out, it was a lot of work, because 1 year ago to this month, David and I were walking across the David Ortiz Bridge in the middle of a slushy snowstorm, coming from Mix 1 at 9:30 at night. And I look ahead and I see 3 Boston City snowplows coming our way. And if you know the David Ortiz Bridge, there's no place to go if you're walking. At 9:30, we turned into Frosty the Snowman as they drove by. 1 year ago today, we were posting, so it's a tremendous amount of work.
I really loved the vibe of the film. You kind of touched on that a little bit, how you were trying to make it a little 80s themed.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that the car chase was like still in a Prius, it still felt very 80s. And I'm curious, like, what kind of hacks, from what I understand, there was quite a bit of green screen as well. So what were some like hacks and cheats and stuff that you did to make that happen?
So the 80s vibe was completely intentional in casting, in cinematography, in sound mixing, color correction, and I guess one real quick thing was that the movie was shot in 6K on a red, really expensive red epic weapon, right? Yeah, really red epic weapon, and in 4K. So it was shot with the latest digital technology. But when we were done, we went to David Porter's facility and then put film grain, changed it around, resized it, put film grain on top of it. So shot maybe more than once, he's right. But a really funny story was Georgia had to talk me into shooting 4K to begin with. And we're on set the second day of the shoot. And I got the director's monitor and I see there was 6K above, remember that? So we were suddenly shooting 6K, which was the highest resolution you could possibly shoot on the planet at that point. And I said, Georgia, how are we shooting 6K? We can't possibly handle this post-production workflow. And the irony being, when we were all done, we threw grain on top of it. The music was part of it. If you can kind of hear a little bit of John Williams in the score by David Stahl, that's an original composition by a fantastic composer, and who worked with Hans Zimmer, worked with John Williams.
Got very lucky getting him.
And even the Foley and the sound effects of David Porter's, and the way Georgia lit the film, we all had in mind, we wanted to watch, I guess, like a Die Hard movie or Back to the Future, those movies we loved from the 80s. So it's intentionally like that. And it's funny, and I'll wrap up with this, that when we were selling the movie and we went out to people in distribution, one of the foreign buyers came back and he said, when was this movie made? I think this is an old movie. No, that was the point. So yes.
One thing I do want to mention is that when I contacted David Porter, I said, David, we're New England, we're friends, and we knew somebody who was going to do the color, who worked for David Porter here at Mix 1 in Boston. And I said, you want to take a look at it? You want to do the job? Yeah, sure, why not? A year, this poor man, David, just tell him about the work you went through.
First of all, I didn't believe it was John James on the phone. This guy's fooling me. But yeah, I met David over the phone, and we had discussions with John, and they sent the film, we kind of reviewed it and all that, and my company started from the ground up, and it was really exciting. We took care of the sound and the color correction, but we also did the Foley. We had a lot of the sound effects and the grain. Yeah, so it was a process that we did. It was together. We did all at the same time, which was really great. Instead of moving from one facility to another, we worked together. So we hunkered down last winter. It was horribly cold. Many days walking up to Tasty Burger into the wind, minus 20-degree wind chill factor, but we did it. And but it's great to see it kind of come to life here.
Thank you so much.
Code 3, all units. All units, target. That's him, move in. All teams, move in.
In about 60 seconds, a bunch of guys with guns are gonna kill us both. If you don't do as I say, drive. I made something that could change everything, the whole world. And these people are chasing us because they want it.
This device is an incredible power to breach an extract anything.
That takes a person from one place into another place.
Are you like a crazy person?
You have a small army at your disposal. Will you use it?
You get me that thing? It's going to be Christmas morning.
I'm always up for a little fun.
Now that Cy has gone rogue, I want him also.
You have your seatbelt on?
Why?
There's a bomb on board!
Yeah, no shit!